Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I'm back at it with rocks and generics and all that other fun stuff. I did realize that, I think I'm not going to do this. And what I mean by not going to do this is this, which is got to get constraints generated. It's this one. Yeah. You have to close it. I'm not even going to bother. So done and done, I believe, right? Because when I was never looking at where T is class, I was actually doing that. Okay. So we were generating that. That is good. And that means that here, we don't need this. And that also means that wherever this is being called, I believe is only one spot now. Okay, 2 spots. But they're both on a iMethod symbol. And do we have extensions for iMethod symbol? No, we don't. Okay. Oh yeah, we do. So actually, this is going to go away, and we're going to put it in iMethod symbol here. Except it's going to be a little bit different. This iMethod symbol self. Okay, so now we're going to say self.type, actually that. Okay, and then here we say method.get constraints. Same thing. Okay. And then we'll have to do that in the void. In the void. Because somewhere in here it should, bark. Well, not that far. This far. There we go. Okay, and then we can get rid of that class because we don't need it. We just moved it. Okay, so I believe that means done, done, and done. Oh, the descriptors. Always the descriptors. Always the descriptors. Okay, so we need in the method value builder, we need public method signature, and method signature is this. You know what? Hold on. For one thing, I first want to do this. I want to make sure that if I have a method that's actually generic like that is, that it's actually outputting this. Let's see how far we have to go down the rabbit hole. Okay. And again, I only think this works for methods. Properties, you don't have to worry about this with. So we'll see once it gets generated. So I think I said run. Yeah, it's pretty quick. It's pretty quick on this machine, this beefy machine with lots of memory. It takes for freaking ever. But I'm not bitter. Okay. So let's make a new file. That tool. No, H. That's fine. Normal that. Normal that. Okay. So this should actually be, if this is a foo, it should say foo of t here. So, okay, so foo of t. And then we would need it here. Foo of t value, foo of t value. Okay. All right. So, can I say get name? That only works for a type. It does not work for a method. What's a metadata name? I don't think that's the right thing. Yeah, we have the 1 and the 2, and that's not what we want. We're going to have a way to say generate the name like we have for the type. I think if we look at type symbol, we create a get name. We're going to want something very similar to methods. So if I say iMethod symbol, and I say internal static string get name. And I believe it'd be very similar to what we're doing here. This I method symbol self generics options equals, and then we would say include generics. Okay. Now, flatten doesn't really work here because flatten is only for types. So I think this one, we probably want to say type name options. Yeah, I think that's actually better. Let's do that. Type name options. Yes. Okay. And then we want a method names options. Method name options. And method name options would be no generics or include generics. That's it. Well, you know, I thought a type name option. Fine, whatever. I don't care. There's some battles to fight, and this is not one of them. Okay. So we have type name option, options, yeah, and it's type name option include generic. So what we need is the name, and then if we want generics and the method is generic, then we would include the generics. So we would say var name is equal to self.name. And then here, we're going to say if options equals type name option include generics and self type arguments length is greater than 0, then we would want to, yeah, that's getting a little out of hand. Var generics is equal to this. So let's back up the bus a little bit. We're going to say options is that. If that's true, then we want to say this, lstring.empty, okay? And in this case, what we would say is string.join. And we would want the type name. So we'd say self.type arguments, select, get name. And then we need to close that off. There, we got it. Okay, so now here, we want to put in generics. And that's it. And then close that, sure. And close that. Okay, so then here, we want to say get name. Same thing here. And then in the value, and then the void builder, we would also want to say get name, and we're done. Okay, let's test this out. And what I mean by test it out is let's see what this generates now. And then if it's what I expect, then we're going to just write some unit tests real quick because I want to make sure that I'm actually seeing, well, for get name, kind of like what I'm doing for the type when I do get name. Yeah. So once this decides to come up with some output, as one does, okay, copy value. And we'll do all this stuff again with feeling. So that's that. Whoa, not not that. What did I? No, I want extend. There we go. I saw. Okay. Foo of t, look at that. And then we've got foo of t. Boom, done. We're good. So that's exactly what I wanted to see. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, cool. So let's come back here to generics. Method description. Yep. We got all that done. So all of the generic stuff is done. So I can get back to actually doing generic tests here in methods, properties, and indexers. And most of those, yeah, because as I just found out, yeah, these go away because you really wouldn't have those with generic type based on generic type parameter. Well, that's, using a type, like having a list of string being your data, something like that. Okay. All right. So we're actually in a pretty good boat here. This was a big one because once I got over this, I think then like the class and the method, the event, I think I still need to have a way to declare it. But before we do all this, so getting into that, and I think with these tests, I would do it off screen, but there is a test that I want to do, which is very similar to, like I just said, with tests on integration tests, not integration tests, just regular testy tests. Whereas like this, I type symbol extensions get name. I want to have a method symbol extensions get name. And I think I have, yeah, so we're going to say something like this. Method symbol extensions get name. So this would be like saying I had a public void foo of t, and yeah, like that. Okay, and then I would have method name option, no generics. I would expect to see foo. Okay, and something like this, I would expect to see include generics foo of t, get name. So now we're going to say here method symbol get method symbol, and we're going to take away all these because I don't think this is exact. Well, yeah, let's hold off on that just a second. So we want to get here is get method symbol. Okay, and then here we're going to do method symbol, and then we're going to say of type method declaration syntax where it's foo, and then this returns back a method symbol. Method syntax. So as long as we get a foo back, and that'll be interesting because if I want to do derived types, I would have to say, wait a minute, whoa. You know what I mean? I couldn't do foo. I'd have to say which foo on which derived type. So that would be, quite frankly, I think this is really the only case I care about for now. So we're not going to do that. Let's see if these tests pass. Okay. Hopefully we see 2 successful, and we do. Good. So I can say get commit or stash 121 generics work seems done for now. And push. Okay, so I've got what, about 15 minutes left. I could keep writing tests. Ensure all assert that have meaningful messages. Callback has to be raised. Has to be open for raises. Doesn't have to be. No, I fixed that. That doesn't matter anymore. Pretty sure I fixed that. There. And inline mapping. Yeah. This is still done in the mock type. It doesn't need to be a dictionary. It can be a mutable array of mutable. This is true. I don't need to have a dictionary to say which one is which because I know at what index it would have been put in or not. I'm not sure if that's actually true. Oh, what's this? Redo test that finds all mockable. Yeah. I remember what that is. Okay. Okay, so is there a way that I don't allow... Let's see if we can do that one. So if I say here, mock information, I think what I want to do is say Does the type to mock have open generics? Because if they do, then that's not what we want. So would I put that in as kind of like a helper method here? I think I would want to say something like private static bool has open generics. Type type if this dot type to mock is I named type symbol named type, then we say mock if, well then we can also, yeah, we can do it all in one if, and mock information has open generics named type. Then what we would do is to do diagnostic. Now how do we determine this? Okay, so we say for var I, we say if type dot type parameters length is greater than 0, then we're going to start doing some lookies. We can just say here return false. So I'm going to say for var I is equal to 0, I less than type parameters length I plus plus. If, and I think this is where I kind of did this check. Never mind. Yeah, I thought did I take that code out? No. I think I'm going to say type arguments. Type arguments. Yeah. Get constraints. Well, that's constraints. So let's do type arguments. If type.type arguments of I, and this is a type symbol, equals type.type parameters, that's a type parameter symbol of I, return true. So we just immediately come out. If we find that you have a case where you have created something, then where you haven't specified something, then we actually will pop out and say true. Otherwise, we want false. That's what we want. Okay, so what I want to do is we want to say diagnostics add cannot specify type with open generics create this type to mock. Of course, you're like, what is that? What are our IDs? I don't know what our IDs are. Crap. This is going to be rock 2, rock 1. Well, duh, Jason, you're an idiot. You just put one out there. Oh my God. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 5. The type has an open generic value and cannot be mocked. Cannot mock open generic types. Okay. So we're going to say it's this, get a name. Okay, so then here There. Okay, so now what we need to do is create when class has open is open generic. Okay, so we're going to say public class base of A and B. Okay, and then we're going to say public class of target type name. Actually, it doesn't matter. iBase. Yeah, I know why you're complaining, because you want this, you want that. Okay. When type, it really doesn't matter what the type is. We're going to say public interface generic with A and string. Okay. Which derives from base of A and B. I feel like I'm just being stupid here. Okay. All right, so is that correct? What are you all barking at here? God almighty, you suck. It's just... void foo A, B, B. Okay. Oh my God. T1, T2, who cares? Oh my God. Yeah, it's my fault. Okay, T1, which is iBase of T1 and string. That's what we want. Okay. So here we'd want this. Okay. So we want that, and then we want that and that. Okay, and the target type name is iGeneric. And the error we're expecting is that. Okay. Let's see what happens. Never know unless you run the test. You'll never know. And what do we see? Oh. Okay, well, it actually did the right thing. It said that you had an open generic, and you cannot, like, you actually give that as the generic. You can give, let's run all these, just make sure I didn't break something else somewhere. And they all pass. Okay, good. I think I just added that one, and that's probably a good point to start. So where did I have this rule? Did I have it in here? What would I do for the... I did it because I just saw me do this. Delegate builder, ensure all that, debug. If I define it, yeah, this is the one. Okay. It was just scrolled off screen and I didn't see it. That's fine. Okay. There. All right. So I've got some tests to write off screen. And then, yeah, same thing here. I can take these off because those won't be cases. And the one thing that's interesting with all these class things is that I'm almost literally going to take the tests that I wrote for the interfaces and literally just say, instead of a public interface, it'll be a public class. And just do it that way and see if, you know, if it all works. What I do for abstract classes with abstract methods or virtual methods, maybe that's what I do too, and double them up. Maybe I should put that in here as a note. Should I do these two ways? one as abstract, one as virtual. Just so I'm catching both cases. I'm not really sure. All right. I just quickly want to see how much left do I have of toDisplayString. So I have here an SAFI dot to display string. Find all. I have, how many did I find? 14. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Yeah. So I think, what's the plan here? The battle plan is to do all these tests so that I can get this off the plate. And then I got some things here that I need to clean up before I can say, make an RC2. Okay. So these I'm going to do off screen. And once I get those in here, then I think I can move on these. And we can move on from there. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I don't know. I'll see how I feel tonight. I'll see if I'm up for it and want to do more recording. Even if, I think if I can get the tests done for generic quick off camera, then I can actually, I'll feel better-ish, because the classes really shouldn't be hopefully that big of a deal, but we will find out. So that's all for now. Thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.